Mr. Stefan Sipka, a policy analyst of the European Policy Center, will deliver a keynote speech titled Green and Digital Transitions Aligning the Two Agendas.
Good day. My name is Stefan Sipka, and I'm a policy analyst at the European Policy Center, and I'm happy to present this topic on green and digital transitions, aligning the agendas for the 2020 Korea-Eureka-Day conference. A couple of words about the European Policy Center itself. So EPC is an independent policy think tank based in Brussels and committed to making European integration work. It's a non-profit organization, follows and analyzes the European policymaking process. And I would say that some of our main outputs are events and publications, policy papers of different kinds, different sorts. And we publish around 80 or more than 80 publications per year, and also more than 150 events are being organized by the EPC per year. And we cover a number of policy areas of relevance to the EU, including sustainability. The main focus of my work was environment and circular economy, but also in the last couple of years, we have been exploring the linkages between sustainability and green transition on the one side and digital transformation on the other. And this is something that I'm happy to discuss today, to present some of our findings when it comes to these linkages, focusing mainly on the EU, but I'm sure that most of these findings are also relevant to the non-EU countries. But first things first, I would just like to remind us of the scale of the scale and magnitude of the sustainability challenge. Of course, it's a very complex topic, but I just think it's good to remind ourselves on the importance of the importance and dangers regarding global warming, pollution, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion. It more or less boils down to this. It's an existential crisis, sustainability crisis, existential crisis, and we need to act urgently if we actually want to avoid, or let's say reduce the damage being done due to this crisis. But also we are now facing already an existing corona crisis, and there is now the priorities on the recovery process. Green transition is important for this process as well. We shouldn't forget about sustainability when we talk about supporting our economies to recover. Why? Because when we talk about sustainability solutions, it's not only, these are not costs, these are actual investments. So if we invest in climate change, in mitigating and adapting to climate change, that can actually lead to economic benefits. And otherwise, we will have economic costs, and also it will have wider socioeconomic crisis, even greater than the current one. Air pollution. If we reduce air pollution, improve the air quality, that's good for the economy, and of course, most importantly, for our health. Otherwise, we would have hundreds of thousands of premature deaths like in Europe per year, and also it's bad for the economy. Circular economy is also good for the economy and also creating new jobs, but also it can create improved resilience, because think about recovering critical materials from used electronics. So you can recover these materials from your country or region, and that is basically that can support making our economy more resilient. And last but not the least, nature is often undervalued, although it's undervalued because it's we don't see the economic benefits, but actually when you dive deeper into the topic, you see that actually it brings a lot of value. For example, EU's nature brings at least 200 to 300 billion euros per year to the EU economy, but we don't see it, but it's there. So we shouldn't forget about biodiversity too, and this is just to show how actually greater sustainability of our economy and society can also be good for the economy, and it can support the recovery process. Meanwhile, we are experiencing in our daily lives, but also our economy is going through this other transition, and new developments are being, we can see new developments, innovations, new solutions, tools being invented every year, or even earlier, shorter than that. And in a nutshell, we could say that we are experiencing the digital transformation. We're witnessing this, all of us worldwide. And so we have, in the last couple of years, DPC has been observing these two developments, and we noticed that there are no significant efforts to actually align the two agendas. We have the green transition on its own pathway, we have digital transformation, but no interlinkages, or they're very weak. And if it continues that way, we will have either these two transitions going their own separate ways, but even worse, they can go against each other. We don't want that. We want them to be addressed jointly and to exploit the synergies between the two transitions. So, namely, to use the green and digital transitions to support the sustainable, to contribute to a more sustainable, climate-neutral, resilient, and competitive Europe. Green Deal, here you can see here it's more highlighted because probably you know that Green Deal is now the new growth strategy, and all policies need to be aligned with the Green Deal. So we can use green and digital to support these higher level objectives. But how exactly? How can digitalization serve as an enabler for the green transition? Well, namely by improving knowledge, information sharing, and connections, by improving products, businesses, and processes, and by improving governance itself. And in the next couple of slides, I will showcase this with a couple of examples, but there are many more. So, for example, Food Cloud is an online app solution which is facilitating communication between retailers who have surplus food and charity organizations that actually want to distribute the surplus food to those in need. And via this app, this communication is more efficient. Therefore, food can be saved and distributed to people, to those who are in need of this food, instead of actually wasting food. Then you can also see that there is a Flourish project who has developed an AI, artificial intelligence solution for precision farming. So basically, drones collect environmental data, and these data are fed into, are used by unmanned ground vehicles, basically robots, to spray optimal amounts of pesticides, fertilizers, and other chemicals, which we don't want in huge quantities in our soil, of course. But this optimal amount means that you can actually reduce the amount of these chemicals being used, which is good for, which can contribute to more sustainable agriculture and protect our nature. Also, now you have apps such as Scan for Chem that consumers can use to scan a product and actually ask the producer to provide information about the presence of certain hazardous chemicals in products. And also you have solutions like Circularize that actually that use blockchain solutions to improve transparency and communication across value chains. And this is important to highlight this case because information sharing is of significant importance. We can't have greater sustainability and circular economy without sharing information across value chains between different stakeholders. On the other hand, we have concerns over data protection, personal data, IPR, business sensitive data. And this is the challenge is to reconcile these two priorities, data protection and data sharing. Circularize is an interesting case because their blockchain is used as a pathway, secure pathway, so that, for example, recycler can ask the producer, recycler can scan the QR code on the, let's say, used screen and ask the producer to provide information, ask the producer actually, is there mercury in the screen or not? And this is much more efficient than to dismantle the equipment and then find out whether there is this substance or not. So this is an example how, for example, a producer can provide an answer to this question, and this information is accessible by scanning the QR code itself. Then when it comes to improving products, businesses, and processes, digitalization can actually support service-based business models, sustainable servitization, and also dematerialization, if I may add, because you know, the idea is you don't need a car, you need mobility, right? So WIM is an example of an app that actually consumers can use to find out what mobility options are there for them in their city, for example, and you know, it can be cycling, cars, metro, or combined, you know, multimodal or intermodal mobility options. And also they can purchase the mobility service via this app instead of actually, and that can incentivize using mobility services instead of, for example, owning a car, which can have many benefits for environment and sustainability. Then also artificial intelligence can speed up research and development. Here we have the example of Accelerated Metallurgy project, which has demonstrated that AI can speed up the discovery of development and discovery of new metal alloys. And this project is not directly linked to sustainability, but it demonstrates that AI can be used to speed up the research and development process, and then you can think of also developing new, more recyclable or durable materials, which can then make our products more sustainable. Also, 3D printing can provide important contribution to making our processes more sustainable, be it industrial production or construction. Here we have the example of Winsun, which is a Shanghai-based company which 3D printed a number of buildings, thus saving costs and resource and also resources. And of course, there are many other examples that you can 3D print shoes or different kinds of other equipment, and which can also be good for sustainability. Then you can use ThyssenKrupp. ThyssenKrupp is actually a company which is gathering data about elevators, which this company is providing, and uses Internet of Things to actually do predictive maintenance. So you can use IoT and digital solutions to actually repair products and increase their lifespan. And lastly, when it comes to waste management, already robots and artificial intelligence are used to help in waste management, namely such as waste sorting, as well as dismantling. And here we have the example of Zen Robotics, which uses these solutions. Lastly, governance. The European Space Agency is already using AI in its satellites to improve collection and processing of data obtained via Earth observation. And also there are different databases already developed by European Environment Agency, very active in this when it comes to also this data gathering, data management. When it comes to biodiversity, it can also be relevant for agriculture. And when it comes to implementation, there are these algorithms like a web crawler, spider bots that can browse the internet and monitor market surveillance, help market surveillance authorities to improve their performance because of this data gathered from the web. And also, CITES convention is actually a convention that's regulating the trade on endangered species, and this can be improved. This process, this surveillance can be improved by iCITES initiative, which is already developed but needs to be further scaled up, which is basically like electronic information exchange between customs, different authorities involved in this kind of surveillance of international trade in endangered species, and also restricting this trade. So there are many opportunities indeed. However, these opportunities come with a number of caveats, namely electronics consumes a lot of energy and critical materials. AI can also make unsustainable decisions. So basically, ICT products, infrastructure, as well as software can, if not sustainable, can lead to greenhouse gas emissions, resource depletion, and e-waste. These are some of the facts and figures to basically showcase the magnitude of the problem, and it's getting even worse. Shares of greenhouse gas emissions and total energy demand is increasing, and e-waste is, you may already know, the fastest growing waste stream. So we need to also tackle the environmental impacts of digitalization, not only to consider it as an enabler for green transition by default. And now, just to also show a couple of examples that there are certain developments already taking place when it comes to greening ICT. For example, when it comes to infrastructure, here data centers are especially important to make them more sustainable. And for example, Green IT Cube is an energy and resource efficient data center that also has the German Blue Angel Eco label. But also Google has reduced energy consumption of its data centers, and also is heavily reliant on renewable energy, and at some certain points is using 100% renewable energy as a supply for operating its data centers. When it comes to ICT equipment, Fairphone is a company that has developed a mobile phone which is modular in design and also favors durability, and also uses recycled and fairly sourced materials. And Apple is also aiming to actually use only recycled and renewable materials in its products and packaging, and already is doing so for certain products, namely when it comes to using 100% recycled aluminium. So this is already happening, but they are aiming for more. And then when it comes to policy, policy recommendations, this is just a couple of them I wanted to share, but then again, these recommendations are much more elaborated in our studies. So when it comes to, say, data angle of the entire this entire topic, Europe, the EU needs to create this kind of a European data space for Green Deal and the resilient economy. You may know that as part of this whole Green Deal initiative, Green Deal agenda, the Commission has envisaged establishment of a number of data spaces. These data spaces are meant to be frameworks, established sort of a framework architecture for standardizing data and also establishing rules how data is to be shared, collected, processed, analyzed, and so forth. So it's not like a technical, one-size-fits-all technical solution. It's not like a database. It's more like a framework for managing data in a better way. And there are a number of data spaces that actually will be established on agriculture, industry, mobility, and so forth, but also for Green Deal as well as circular economy. So, and when these data spaces are developed, and this needs to be developed, it's a lengthy process, but it needs to remain on top of the EU's agenda. Basically, these different rules needs to be established. Technical standards need to be established on data sharing, collection, treatment, processing, and overall better data management, also of relevance for greater sustainability. Then investments are needed to develop and deploy digital solutions for greater sustainability. The EU has this chance to actually use now the new multi-annual financial framework, is basically the framework which is governing how the EU will spend its money in the next decade, coupled with a new recovery instrument. So there are billions of euros that can be used to support further economic development, including recovery, but also deployment of digital solutions. And what is important is that digital infrastructure and all, let's say, digital solutions all are modernized, that they are being developed and used in the EU, but also that we ensure that these solutions that are supported from the EU budget are used for achieving Green Deal objectives, or it doesn't go contrary to these objectives. one important thing to highlight is that infrastructure needs to be further developed in the EU itself, because we need to have better infrastructure if we want to have digitalization also for sustainability. So it's fiber or 5G or increased internet coverage. And Korea is actually a very good case, an example of a country that invested successfully in better ICT infrastructure, to my knowledge, for example, when it comes to 5G. So the EU also needs to look at these examples and actually also invest more into to set the basics right. But also in doing so, the ICT needs to be greened itself, as discussed, and which means introducing new requirements on ICT equipment, whether we talk about mandatory voluntary eco-design standards, also new requirements on the intake of recycled materials in new ICT equipment, or using other instruments such as public procurement to create demand for more ICT equipment. Infrastructure, as discussed, needs to be developed, but also needs to be more sustainable. So this needs to be an important condition when supporting development of ICT infrastructure to make, for example, our data centers more energy efficient, reliant on renewable energy, more material efficient. Last, but not the least, software needs to become more sustainable. So we need sustainability criteria for software, because depending on the design of the software, hardware can consume more or less energy, or also hardware can be compatible with the new software or not. It very much depends on the software, and if it's not compatible, you may need to buy new hardware, although the old hardware could still be used if the software is more designed in a different way. So we need sustainable software, and we need rules to incentivize the development of such software. So in a nutshell, these are some of our findings, some of our insights and recommendations we've been working on in the last couple of years, but there is much more available in our studies on this topic, and these studies are publicly available at the EPC website. And I invite you to have a look at these studies. But of course, I'm more than happy to further discuss on this topic. Thank you very much.
Now, Mr. Jong-yeol Kim, the Director of Deloitte Consulting Korea, will deliver the second keynote speech titled Digital Transformation, Enhancement of the R&D Ecosystem.
Hi everyone, it's really nice to meet you here at Korea유레카데이. This is Jong-yeol Kim, who is in charge of government and public sector at Deloitte Korea. I think it's really important for me to share all the ideas and this subject with you guys here, because in terms of the digitalization of all the society and industry ecosystem, it's really important for companies to develop or to enhance their internal organization and also new business. So all these kind of issues are really happened, and also we could see so many changes around our environment. So today, let me talk about the environmental transformation. So how it's going on, and what kind of things and what kind of factors has been changed around us. And secondly, I would like to share some paradigm shift in R&D ecosystem. Which means that in an R&D ecosystem, there are so many changes and differentiations in this system in terms of the digitalization. From them, I want to talk about where we are now in terms of our capacity and our core capabilities in the digital area. And finally, let me talk about the digital enhancement, especially from the R&D ecosystem perspective. First of all, I would like to focus on the transformation in our society at the moment. In these days, there are so many different types of challenges and changes in our surrounding. It's really important for us to focus on this transformation because our society has been changed a lot, and also the speed of these changes is so fast. Majorly, when we are talking about the goals and challenges, we can say the three major goals. The first one, economic growth. Yes, especially the economic growth is the main point and main subject at the moment for the companies and for us also in terms of the COVID-19. Actually, we are having so many difficulties in order to develop the new business or in order to spread or expand our new services or product because of this kind of disaster. So the economic growth, this issue should be one of the most important factors for us to focus on these days. Then secondly, let me talk about the quality of life. Society ecosystem and internal organization, and especially the disruptive technology, and data and security, and finance and funding, finally, the policy and regulation, all these kind of things are, we can say, enablers for transformation in our society. First of all, I think the speed of technology innovation, especially these days, is accelerating in terms of various tools and open platform. What it means. For example, when we are searching for some information in order to make a documentation or in order to get into the new market, what would you do? For me, first of all, Googling. It's really easy. Let's get back to the 10 years ago, or 12 or 15 or 12 years ago. Even if at the time we had these kind of platforms and internet, it was not easy for us to search for or find out those kind of information. But at the moment, there are so many different types of tools, really easy tools and open platform, what we can do search for very easily. I think this kind of disruptive technology innovation should be one of the most factors in this transformation these days. And also, I would like to talk about the digital transformation in industry ecosystem. The major issue should be disappearance of boundaries. It's not only about the society or technology, but also all the social value. So for example, the human and machine. All right, we can say there are some differences between human and machine at the moment. But I think after 5 years later or 10 years later, I think the machine, we can say robot, could be the almost same characters with human being. So this kind of machine could do something, the right thing, what human being doing. And also physical world and digital world. It has been integrated so fastly. Nowadays, it's pretty difficult for us to figure out the main differences between physical world and digital world. You may have heard about the digital twin or smart plant, all this kind of stuff. We could say digital world, no, or physical world. We can put the physical world into the digital world through the digital transformation and the technology. Actually, this kind of technology evolution and new social value are key triggers of digital transformation of industry ecosystem. So let's talk about the digital transformation of industry ecosystem. In this ecosystem, I would say 5 major key drivers we can say the AI, cloud, IoT, mobile, and big data. These key drivers make our industry ecosystem to be more efficient and to be more effective. And of course, all this kind of industry ecosystem, in the middle of this ecosystem, there is a data. So from now on, I think the data should be one of the most important key successful factors for the companies, of course, for the people, to doing something new. All right, and from the customer side and the business model transformation perspectives, let's see this. All this you can see the companies, Amazon, Google, YouTube, Instagram. It's easier for us to remember, right? Because you can use these kind of tools and you can use this kind of website platform every day. At the first time when they developed their technology and platform, the speed of growing was not so fast. But in the meantime, when they started to focus on the customer, the speed of growth has been increased a lot. And the speed is so fast. So it's incredible. We cannot imagine how it has been growing so fastly. Why customer comes critical when discussing changes, innovations, and growth? Nowadays, sometimes customers have more information than us. So let's think about it. I want to sell my product to the specific customer. But when the customer has more information than how I can sell it? Which means that there are so many different types of tools and open platforms for the customers. So the customer, they are smart and they are getting smarter and smarter and they have more information. So which means that the companies should focus on the customer very, very carefully in order to be grow. And secondly, let me start with the paradigm shift in R&D ecosystem. Of course, you may have already known about a lot of R&D ecosystem trends in the world. Especially R&D paradigm has been evolved rapidly based on open innovation, convergence, and digitalization. The first thing, the open innovation R&D, what it is. In the past, usually the companies, they are considering the R&D inside of the company, which means that the R&D, the concept of R&D should be the long-term perspective, and also all the activities regarding the R&D has lower efficiency. But at the moment, they are focusing on lean R&D activities, which means that our environment has been changed so fast, which means that the companies, they don't have enough time to develop the new technology. In this case, what kind of things they should do? Yes, they need to merge or they need to acquire the technology. That is we can call it A&D, acquisition and development. And also there are another case. We can call it C&D, connect and development. When we don't have any specific technology and core capabilities in order to develop the new technology, we can connect other side who have the main technology. At the moment, it's really easy for us to find out this kind of partnership in terms of the R&D technology because the information system also has been developed a lot. So it's getting easier and easier for companies to find out the right partner in order to develop or in order to get the right technology. And finally, we can also say L&D, which means that launching and development. It's also because of the rapid changes, our environment changes. And secondly, in the past, we can call it one-size-fits-all approach, which means that in the R&D governance, all the process and all the framework are the same or really similar to each other. But at the moment, we can call it converged R&D governance. Within this converged R&D governance, we need integrated approach. And also we need open platforms because there is no barriers. And finally, I want to talk about the commercialization. In the past, when we were talking about the R&D, we were focusing on the originality or the basic studies or the specific solution or package. But at the moment, many companies and many scientists and many technicians, they are focusing on the practical applications. What kind of R&D should be really important for us to develop the new product or new services? So that's why there are so many total packages in the market. And also we could see so many E2E providers. E2E means end-to-end. So from the first step to the last step, we are considering all the steps and all the processes regarding the R&D commercialization. Let's see this chart. Actually, major global leading companies have been carrying out CVC, A&D, and collaboration as a core R&D strategy for innovative growth. Among the S&P Global 1200, probably you may know so many companies here in the list. Alphabet, Intel, Salesforce, Qualcomm. These kind of companies are really famous for the R&D technology innovation. The CVC means the corporate venture capital. So these kind of companies, they need to develop the new services or new products very fastly. So that's why, in order to get the core competitiveness, in order to get into the new business model transformation, they need to acquire or they need to invest on the startup and innovative companies. And secondly, I want to say the A&D, acquisition and development. Actually, it's based on the M&A strategy and beyond the industries. So when a company, this kind of global leading companies, they need some specific solution or a specific technology, they just buy it. They just buy the company who has the main core technology. It's easy. It's because of the new growth momentum, and also there's no enough time. So that's why these companies need to buy, and these companies need to find out these kind of technologies in a rapid market. And the final thing I want to say, the collaboration R&D. Yes, actually, the reason why we would like to do the collaboration in our R&D ecosystem, the first reason is the cost. We need to reduce the investment cost, and also we need to reduce the operation cost during the R&D process. And also, we started to find out the synergy effect with our partners because our environment, business environment, has been changed a lot and has been growing up so fastly. So that's why we need partners. So this kind of three strategic approach for R&D innovation is the major key successful factors for the global leading companies. And then let me talk about the smart enterprise. I think you may have heard about the smart city or smart nation or connected country or connected companies. Yes. In order to consider seamless operation, this concept, smart enterprise concept, has been rising. This seamless operation during all process based on digitalized S&OP operation structure, market insight, business informational products based on systematic lifestyle, smart logistics operation through automations, all these kind of things are happened in these smart enterprise surroundings. Which means that our supply chain management and supply chain logistics has been changed, especially in this red circle. That is the factors and the processes what I need to talk about, because it's really important for the R&D ecosystem and also R&D processes these days. So that's why I want to say the new R&D trend. If someone asked me, what is the main trend of R&D these days? I do say connected PLM, connected product life cycle. It makes R&D processes also changes. So from the project management in traditional R&D functions to the customer claims, we need to consider specification, quality, and cost. So when we are talking about the connected PLM, we need to consider all these kind of issues and factors from 1 to 14. Within the product life cycle management, there are so many things and so many factors we need to consider. Even if we are only need R&D activities, we need all these kind of processes, and we need to discuss about this kind of all processes within the connected product life cycle. All right, so from now on, I want to share where we are now from the digital transformation perspective. I'm not sure how many of you guys here have some knowledge or insight or some experiences on the digital competitiveness of South Korea. I think it's really important for us to be proud of our country at the moment, especially from the COVID-19, our data system and data governance and data ecosystem has been improved a lot. And so many countries, including developed countries like USA, UK, Canada, and Japan, nowadays they started to ask us how you can handle it. Let's see this. This is a chart that is published by OECD. You can see the digital government index. We are on the top, Korea. In terms of the digital design, data-driven approach, government as a platform, in all the factors, we are leading country in the world. And from the government perspective, also we could see the Republic of Korea in the second ranking. Yeah, actually the Korean government has been investing a lot in the digital transformation in public sector. I remember from 2010, our digital government, at that moment we can call it e-government. At that moment, we invested a lot in this kind of process and platform in order to achieve the digital competitiveness in the future. Now, it takes 10 years, right? Nowadays, we are in the top level in the global. And also, our digital R&D ecosystem is really, really complicated because there are so many different types of stakeholders and they are working together. But I would like to focus on this. The R&D entities are at the center, indicating that successful digitalization is always innovative R&D centric. So when we are considering the R&D governance, let's see our R&D governance in the national level. We can call it R&D support system in South Korea, especially in the public sector. Of course, at the top, we have a president who is a decision maker. And also in the middle range, there are 19 government departments who are developing the policy and regulations regarding the R&D. And also, we have R&D institutions who can develop the detailed master plan of R&D, and also they can implement some R&D systems or R&D infrastructures. Actually, our government set up the national R&D governance in order to enhance innovative capabilities of various stakeholders, like what you saw in the last part. Yes. And in order to enhance this R&D ecosystem in our country, we have really, really great challenge at the moment, which is the Korean New Deal. As you can see here, we have 10 key projects and 28 the related projects. All these kind of projects are related to digital transformation. So which means that the R&D ecosystem has to consider this digitalization, also the transformation, in order to develop and in order to achieve the main goal. All right, finally, in the R&D ecosystem, let me talk about the key successful factors. I usually say the first factor should be the role of government, especially in the digital transformation of R&D ecosystem. It requires a government that is able to combine 6 roles and make deliberated choices on the mix of these roles. So there is a strategist, and there is a solution enabler, and also there is a regulator, there is an innovator. And finally, let me just briefly to share some ideas in order to enhance this R&D ecosystem. The first one, the Open Innovation R&D Platform City. Of course, at the moment, some metropolitan government has already started this concept in their city. So we need to consider to build Open Innovation R&D platform, leveraging all the great advantages what we have. In this R&D platform, we have Digital Academy and Collaboration Office, where all the stakeholders are getting together in order to discuss new business and new services. And also we have Digital Data Exchange. We can call it Public R&D Data Hub. And finally, we have Disruptive R&D Lab, which is the most important factor here in the R&D platform. And also I would suggest this virtual M-Lab program. Virtual laboratory platform based on Open API Cloud. Then all many kinds of different stakeholders in the R&D ecosystem, they can share the specific information, and also they can share some ideas together. And also all these data in this virtual lab, it needs to be developed by companies and key holders, stakeholders in the R&D project. Of course, it could be multinational companies, but also it could be startups. and also it could be some R&D institutions. In order to develop, set up this virtual laboratory platform, we need a linkable database. At the moment, we already have so many different types of public database and other private database. And also, we have some public entities who can provide the important information or trends to the stakeholders in the R&D ecosystem. So among these virtual laboratory platform, we can develop the matching project, and also stakeholders can discuss the real-time technical information, and also some investors, they can support for specific startups in terms of this kind of platform. So this is my personal suggestion in order for R&D ecosystem to be digitalization. All right, if you have any doubts or any questions, please contact me directly. Actually, I just include my email address here. So whenever you have any questions or doubts, please, you can send me an email. Thank you very much.
The third keynote speech will be delivered by Mr. Moon Jung-kang, Vice President of Hyundai Motor Group. The title of his presentation is Facilitating the Future of Mobility with Hydrogen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to welcome all of you virtually with me today. Briefly introducing myself, this is Moon Jung-kang from the Institute for Hydrogen Industry, Hyundai Motor Group. Today, I would like to share the vision for hydrogen society. More specifically, I will go through how Hyundai Motor Group has been working to make valuable contribution to hydrogen society, and also the latest global hydrogen movements and efforts all around us. Hyundai Motor Group's identity has been deeply rooted as an automobile company. Today, however, we are changing to become a smart mobility solution provider, not just an automobile company. We are therefore committed to leading the future of mobility with cars that are clean, autonomous, and connected. We are offering various models for hybrid electric vehicle, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, battery electric vehicle, and fuel cell electric vehicle to offer a cleaner and healthier tomorrow. We will increase the number of eco-friendly car models to 44 by 2025 with 22 battery electric vehicles and 3 fuel cell electric vehicles. Our next generation fuel cell vehicle Nexo is also called as a running air purifier. It represents a clean mobility as it can reduce carbon dioxide just by running on the road. Here I would like to share a short video clip showing Nexo.
Nexo.
We are focusing on autonomous mobility to let a driver enjoy the true freedom in mobility. In September last year, Hyundai Motor Group formed a $4 billion worth joint venture with Aptiv, self-driving technology startup. Afterwards, in August this year, the joint venture was given a name Motional, and it is planning to test fully autonomous vehicles for ride-hailing services. Is it possible to self-drive for 200 kilometers? Yes, it is, with Hyundai autonomous fuel cell electric vehicle Nexo. Back in early 2018, Hyundai Nexo successfully completed a self-driving journey for 200 kilometers from Seoul to Pyeongchang. This is the very first time in the world that a level 4 autonomous driving became possible with fuel cell electric car. Let us enjoy the fascinating moment together. After the successful journey of Nexo in 2018, we did not stop there. Since November last year till now, we have been testing the self-driving technology of Nexo in urban area, one of the most congested districts in Seoul, Gangnam. With Seoul Metropolitan Government, we are aiming to make Seoul the most advanced city with autonomous mobility platform. The test is being undertaken whether the technology is safe enough, and we expect that such tests will pave the way to establish a new standard for autonomous mobility in the near future. We made another success in self-driving in November last year. 40-ton Xcient trucks were tested for truck platooning on a 7.7 kilometer long smart highway. The smart highway is a testbed road for autonomous vehicles, and the driving environment is almost same as normal highways. Headway between trucks are autonomously reacting to distances. Truck platooning will become the future technology to revolutionize the freight and logistics on highway. Let's watch the video to see how two trucks are driving responsibly. We are offering a connected mobility to connect your car with your world. Nexo is not just for driving pleasure, as it can give you more. Nexo can power the precious moment of our daily lives. To meet the Paris 2-degree target, going electric or electrification through renewables would be a key part of the recipe. What does this mean? It means electrifying 27% of road transport, 45% of buildings, and 25% of industry to reduce carbon emissions. However, there still remain hard-to-abate sectors, 73% of road transport, 55% of buildings, and 75% of industry. Fuel cell electric vehicles can help decarbonize mobility segments with longer ranges and more weight. In a town hall meeting October last year, the chairman Chung said the group will remain an automobile manufacturer, but will focus on becoming a future mobility solution provider. In the future, traditional vehicles are likely to account for 50%, with private air vehicles and robotics taking up to 30% and 20% respectively. Then how can we respond to this upcoming change? We expect that fuel cell can be an answer to the question. Among the options for autonomous vehicle, we believe that fuel cell electric vehicle will be the most appropriate option. The chairman Chung said, as for the right model to become an autonomous vehicle, hydrogen fuel cell electric cars will be the most qualified to turn into an autonomous vehicle, as they are capable of driving a longer range compared to all electric ones. In Korea, hydrogen refueling stations are two kinds. One is H station, invested and built by Hyundai, and the other is by Hydrogen Energy Network, HyNet. HyNet, a special purpose company, is leading the construction of hydrogen refueling stations for passenger vehicles. Hyundai, as the second largest shareholder of HyNet, are making efforts for well-established hydrogen infrastructure. Furthermore, we will have another SPC called Kohygen launching next year, which will construct stations specialized for commercial vehicles, and Hyundai will also take a role there. At the moment, there are 39 hydrogen refueling stations under operation, and among them, 8 stations at H Station, directly invested by and branded as Hyundai. You may find Nexo fuel cell taxi not just in Korea, but also in Europe, Zurich, Switzerland, and Berlin, Germany. With its excellence in a long-range drive, Nexo is definitely a suitable option as a taxi fleet. Nexo also joined both domestic and overseas police fleet in England, Italy, Germany, and Switzerland. Once again, Nexo's long range around 600 km per single charge is very appealing as a police car. Exient Fuel Cell is the world's first fuel cell truck powered by 190 kilowatt fuel cell. This 34-ton heavy-duty truck can drive up to 400 km per single refueling. Hyundai exported 10 Exions to Switzerland in July, and 40 more will be exported by the end of this year. By 2025, a total of 1,600 units will be exported. This is a 4.5-ton garbage truck, also powered by 190 kilowatt fuel cell. Considering the driving pattern of a garbage truck, usually very late at night, the noise-free feature of fuel cell truck is certainly a merit. Fuel cell bus is also in service as public transportation. While there are not many fuel cell passenger cars on the road yet, the fuel cell bus will let public experience fuel cell electric vehicle. In December 2018, Hyundai announced a long-term roadmap, FCEV Vision 2030. In 2030, we are aiming at producing 700,000 fuel cell systems annually. Among them, 500,000 will be used for manufacturing Hyundai fuel cell electric vehicles, and the other 200,000 will be applied as a fuel cell system itself. How can our vision be realized? Fuel cell system can be applied to various applications, as I introduced in previous slides. Its broad applicability opens up a wide range of opportunities to apply fuel cell system to all the road, water, and air transportation, and even power generators. Expanding the applicability of fuel cell system, Hyundai Motor Group developed a fuel cell forklift prototype in this September. The load capacity is 5 tons, which is the first of its kind globally. It is planned to make the technology out in the market as soon as in 2023. Fuel cell system will be also applied to the hydrogen electric tram, which has been under development by Hyundai Rotem since January this year. We will see the first demonstration case in April next year. Furthermore, early this month, Hyundai Rotem signed an MOU with Korea Railroad Research Institute to develop and commercialize fuel cell train. Our fuel cell system is an eco-friendly, durable, and safe solution. To drive our hydrogen vision, Hyundai will help the production cost of fuel cell system in the next 3 to 4 years while doubling the lifespan of the system. In September, we made a very remarkable step as we exported the fuel cell system to Switzerland, more specifically to the Swiss company named GVC Technologies, specializing in hydrogen storage tank technology. It was the first time that we exported the fuel cell system to non-automobile OEMs. We hope that this will be the cornerstone to spread our fuel cell technology in European region and in various applications. As touched upon in the previous slides before, fuel cell system can be used for power generators. Lately in August, Microsoft started testing fuel cell system as a backup power at the data center in Azure, US. Since fuel cell system can provide a high-quality electricity, power demand at data center can be well addressed by fuel cell system. And this is certainly an area of interest which Hyundai is capable of. We expect that such innovation will take place in Europe and globally, not only in the US. To make this future image come true, fuel cell UAM is under the plan. At CES, Hyundai and Uber announced a new partnership to develop air taxi for a future area ride-share network. It is expected to see UAM fly over the sky in the US in the next few years, and preparing for this grand change, Hyundai will enter UAM market in 2028. Hyundai will leverage its competitive advantage in automotive manufacturing experience, being capable of mass production and applying its fuel cell technology. I have explained and shown you how Hyundai has been making efforts for hydrogen society. Now I would like to move on to the next chapter, global partnership. To lead a hydrogen society worldwide, Hyundai cannot stand alone. A global partnership matters, and we have been aware of this so well. Our global partners are scattered all around the world, as shown on the map. Hyundai is actively engaged with public and private partners to realize its vision for hydrogen. In Europe, Hyundai is a member of Hydrogen Europe and has a number of partnerships within the hydrogen value chain. With Hyundai's global commitment to hydrogen society, Hyundai served as a co-chair of the Hydrogen Council throughout 2018 until July 2020. As a global company leading hydrogen technology, Hyundai will continue to collaborate with council members to accelerate our future towards hydrogen society. All the major countries have come up with national hydrogen visions, strategy, and roadmap. Last year, Korean government announced the national hydrogen roadmap. Recently, over the past few months, we have seen lots of European efforts to establish national hydrogen strategy or roadmap. Consecutively, Netherlands in April, Portugal in May, and Germany in June, followed by EU's strategy in July. And most recently, France announced the national hydrogen strategy in September, and afterwards, Spain's hydrogen roadmap came in October. All those movements have been taking place in a relatively short term. Under such policy directions, we expect to see hydrogen society in not so distant future. Imagine how cities will transform to adapt to future mobility in the so-called hydrogen society. Mobility hub, UAM, and PBV are the core elements shaping future mobility. Hub is the center of mobility transfer and passenger gathering, where UAM and PBV, purpose-built vehicles, are all connected. This is not just an imaginary future, as we are currently making actual efforts for it. Under the partnership with UK company Urban Airport, we are planning to build UAM stations in UK. To that end, we also signed MOU with 2 cities, West Midlands and Coventry, for UAM research. The video clip will deliver more than words about Hub, UAM, and PBV. It was unveiled at CES in January this year, showing our innovative vision for a cleaner and smarter city without carbon emissions. Laura is flying by UAM, the Urban Air Mobility. She is heading to San Francisco to attend the City Mobility Conference 2030. No problem for UAM to fly over city areas, as it is quiet, economical, easily accessible, and most importantly, emission-free. 2 of Laura's friends, William and Anderson, are also coming to the conference. They will meet at the SOP, the Smart Mobility Hub in the city. William and Anderson hop on a PBV, purpose-built vehicle, which is a completely self-driving mobility solution. Literally, it is personal built, as it can be customized for one of each rider's convenience. William, having been tired of night-long work, is taking a nap while on the PBV ride. Anderson called the PBV, which arrives for him to ride on time.
Hello, Anderson.
They meet at the hub, the space where UAM and PBV are all connected and passengers are interactive. The hub is a place for mobility transfer and also for community activities. PVV is not just a moving trend. PVV itself or a group of PVV can be used as a private lounge, food court, hospital, auditorium, and etc. depending on how its purpose is personally designed. It caters various lifestyles of riders. This is a grand vision that a single company cannot reach. In other words, we will continue to discover more joint opportunities with potential partners. We expect that there will be great synergies between Hyundai and partners in Europe, since Europe is the region at the forefront of global green growth and future technology. Now, I would like to finish my presentation here. I appreciate your time and this opportunity sharing the vision for hydrogen society. If you have inquiries, please contact me at the email address ihi@hyundai-ngv.com. Thank you.
Last but not least, we will have a keynote speech by Mr. James Hoyer-yoon, Senior Vice President and Managing Director of Samsung The title of his presentation today is The Future of the Bio Industry, Preparing for the New Normal After COVID-19.
My name is James Yoon. I'm the Senior Vice President of Samsung Biologics. It is my great honor to present at the Global Tech Forum 2020 Eureka Day, the future of bio industry. Today, my presentation focuses on the bio CDMO business with the title of How to Prepare for the New Normal After COVID-19. If you see current biopharmaceutical market, please see the left-hand bottom graph. In 2012, only 20% of some of top 100 biomedicine was from the biomedicine. But the other 80% comes from small molecule, conventional medicine. But in 2018, the biomedicine portion increased to 53%. This increase may continue in the future as well. What is the key driving factors for increasing demand for bio product? First, it is continuous development of blockbuster biopharmaceuticals. Second, the great expansion of outsourcing strategy to prevent massive capital investment. The third, it is demand for multi-sourcing to secure supply stability in case of unexpected events. In summary, biotech product sales overtake conventional one in the top 100 products in 2018 for the first time. This pattern may continue in the future as well. Manufacturing demand for biologics outpaces capacity expansion. In addition to increase in the biomedicine demand, there is another big shock. It is COVID-19. Biotech may grow first due to COVID-19. If you look at the left-hand side bottom, it is a case of biosimilar. Impact analysis of COVID-19, biopharmaceutical industry will have direct impact on the market. Market growth will accelerate at the annual growth of over 30%. Incremental growth is about $8.65 billion. Growth in 2020, about 50%. So COVID-19 is another big momentum to develop new medicine. For the COVID-19 treatment, about 319 medicine, vaccine 229, products are under development. Therefore, COVID outbreak has added significantly unforeseen demand in such a short period of 10 months' time. Utilization rate of CDMO companies will continue to increase for ongoing demand and supply balance. If you look at the worldwide pharmaceutical R&D from the 2012 until 2019, this growth was 4.6% per annum. But from 2020 to 26, this growth will be lowered to 3.2% because of COVID-19 in 2020. But there is another trend. Globally, big pharma companies, they have their own in-house R&D capability, but they will increase the outsourcing dependency, as well as they outsource manufacturing service from third-party of CMO companies. NRDO, biotechs, startups, all of them outsource almost all of CDO, CRO, CMO business from third company development and manufacturing research service. That is a big trend of R&D side. Also, COVID-19 may lead expedite market change over fast and better with the same quality of development. Before COVID-19, biomedicine development takes long and requires expensive process for high quality product. But after COVID-19, this paradigm may change and the market requires shortened timeline and reduction of development cost, even maintaining high quality product. How do we provide fast and better service for client satisfaction? There is three key elements. First one is we have to provide fully integrated service and solution to customers. And then also we have to localize the development and research function near to clients. And also we have to secure stable raw material supply because of all development and manufacturing service is linked to the stable supply. Together with these three key components, we have to digitalize. It is called the digital transformation to provide better accessibility, better visibility to clients. There is some example cases for better service to meet the market needs. Conventionally, FDA approval for the new drug development, it takes about 10 to 15 years for the preclinical, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, eventually FDA approval. But through the COVID-19 medicine development, it was accelerated and timeline of less than 2 years. During the preclinical, we can process safety and dose selection trials and safety and efficacy trials in parallel. Samsung also developed a faster timeline. Even current standard timeline of 12 months from cell line development to DP manufacturing, it is faster than competitors and the market from the cell line development, process development, tox manufacturing, drug substance manufacturing, drug product manufacturing. But with this COVID-19 situation, we developed a super fast timeline. From cell line to DP manufacturing, it takes only 7 months from 12 months. How to reduce that one? During the process development, we do tox manufacturing and drug substance manufacturing and drug product manufacturing in parallel. The other one is vertical integration in value chain. So biopharmaceutical industry, it has long and wide value chain from discovery, R&D, manufacturing, and sales and marketing. Samsungbayorologics, we started the business from the CMO, mainly focused on drug substance manufacturing, but expanded the business into drug product. Again, expanded to the small CMO with 1 to 2K liter size of bioreactors. 3 years ago, we started the CDO business. From last year, we started the CRO business for test and analysis to complete the whole process in one site. From next year, we can provide discovery service, CRO, to our clients. Once we complete this whole package, we can provide fully integrated service and solution to our clients. Therefore, this COVID-19, we will lead market paradigm change of fast and better as maintaining high quality service. We'll provide super speed service as well with 620K liter capacity. The first plant was built in 2011 to 2013 with a capacity of 30K liter, consists of 6 bioreactors of 5K. It is very flexible to accommodate small orphan drug and also commercialized scale. This plant was equipped with a liquid and lyovial plant as well. Second plant, it is called jumbo plant. Why? Because this one is 5 times bigger than the first plant. In operational in 2016, consists of 10 bioreactors of 15K and 4 bioreactors of 1K equipped with liquid vials for drug product. Lyo plant will be added soon. Also equipped with QC service and PD laboratories. The third plant, it is called the dream plant. Why? Because this is leveraged all strengths of each plant 1, plant 2. This size is 180K liter, one of the largest plant in the world, consists of 12 bioreactors of 15K. It can be accommodate small, medium, and large size together, even with a big scale, with pad batch, with N-1 perfusion, and cGMP operation from October 2018, QC laboratory, PD laboratory together. Very recently, we announced the number 4 plant. It is called super plant. Start groundbreaking in this year and complete by the end of 2022, in operational 2023. This is a whole combination of plant 1, 2, 3. It is consist of 15K of 12 bioreactor and 10K of 6 bioreactor and 8 bioreactor of 2K liters with N-1 perfusion capability. And other new technology is operational in 2023. Why it is super plant? We can provide super speed service to customers by putting everything in one plant, one place, especially number 4 plant. So all 4 plants are cGMP compliant with a dedicated quality control lab and process development unit. Once we complete number 4 plant, the whole capacity will be 620K. The market share of CMO business, about 30%, to be next door to the clients. Why we're expanding geographically in major global bioclusters? It is to get closer to our regional clients for stable supply and local tech transfer, easier and better communication with the clients. Our San Francisco CDO R&D Center was opened in October 2020. Boston, Europe, and China will be followed by 2024. Once you complete the global CDO belt, the CDO development capacity will be around 160 projects per year by 2025. Together with the physical capability of capacity, we are going to transform digitalization for better service. Why we are doing digitalization? First, it is to achieve data integrity through eliminating manual process. Second, eliminate human error and decrease reliance on manpower. The third, access key operational data remotely and rapidly. The fourth, accelerate business and operational processing with agility. As I mentioned, once we complete number 4 plant, the Biocampus 1 will be fully developed. Therefore, we will develop Biocampus 2, a little bit larger than first one. We are actively under discussion with the city and the central government to develop Biocampus 2. Biocampus 1, it is world's largest single manufacturing hub for mammalian cell culture. Biocampus 2, in addition to manufacturing expansion, we will more focus on R&D and working with biotech companies such as open innovation. I told you three key components to be successfully provide faster and better service to our clients. The most important thing is collaboration with stakeholders. It is key success factors. During the COVID-19, we produced and delivered all medicine to customers without any delay. With this, our performance, customer orders are increasing as a best practice for the crisis response and management. We'll build competitive and the most sustainable supply chain in any crisis by localizing 80% of raw material in Korea by 2025. All success is a collaboration among clients, supplier, and Samsung Biologics. Thank you for your attention. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Again, thanks, and I hope to see you soon again. Thank you.